Chittister from Moscow, Idaho. I'm board president of Radio Free Moscow, KRFP 90.3 on the Palouse. And I've been here since a week ago Thursday. And I plan to be here indefinitely if I can work out taking care of my responsibilities back in Idaho by remote control. I'm driving a borrowed car from the Unitarian minister in town because mine started losing water the day before I left. So everything worked out. I came here with a bunch of supplies donated by people from the radio station, and we didn't even do a plea over the air for anything. That they knew just where I was going.
Okay,
And the same thing with the Unitarian Church, and everybody wished they could go. And we were glad somebody was going to represent. So, you know, I had gas money from, so I had support. You know, there's a great ecological and earth conscious group in the town of Moscow, which is kind of unusual for Idaho. But we always support certain things, and it's just happened to catch their attention.
So we're in a tough spot and a unique spot because we're in a hotel full of a lot of journalists and different people, and so we try to find a quiet place, but we're by the door here. So for people who are listening, there's not a lot of space here for us to really interview people, so we try to pick the best spot. So what made you first come here, Al, to cover this story?
Well, a friend of mine was down in Rapid City and was gonna head back to Moscow, and said, but I really think I need to go to Cannonball. And I said, Cannonball, what's that? And they said, well, look it up. And I did. And then we were communicating back and forth over the next few weeks on this. And I was waiting for money to come in so I could pay my bills and leave town without being evicted from my trailer park. And yes, I am media trailer trash. I'm proud of it, yes.
It's okay.
And it all came together the Thursday after the 3rd. But when that thing happened on the 3rd,
Were you there for that?
no, I was not there for that. I saw it on the videos from the Amy Goodman, just like most of the rest of the world, and I just refer to that.
Which they're trying to arrest her for that, you know that.
Yeah, I refer to that as the Day of the Dogs, and I got a little insight on that from a fellow I met last night. He said the horses can kill dogs, and so the dogs were very nervous. This probably explains how the dogs turned on their handlers, because they were spooked by the horses and they didn't know what to do or where to go.
Wow.
So at one point I turned to my fiddling ways, and I did a little memorial for, talking about, praying for the dogs. And I played "You Gotta Quit Kicking My Dog Around."
Oh, that's great.
Because I played for years,
Uh-huh.
Right.
We're pretending we know what we're doing.
So have you covered other stories like this, kind of like this, or have you
No,
covered other
this is
social
really
relevant
my
stories?
This is really my first foray, away from the station, because I've just done my Fiddlin' Big Al's Old Time Liberal Revival and Barn Dance and One Moscow Live for the past 7 years. And this
So you do a
time-
music show. It's a music show?
Well, with that thing, it can be music where I can talk about things if I've got something to talk about, and I very often do. Usually I'll set it up with music. So I did after I heard about Cannonball, I did a whole show that was 3 hours of music about water from about every perspective, and then spoke about it a little bit. And that's how you do it. You just gotta have to. We're so divided. You have to lure people into the possibility of seeing another person's perspective on things, like the Native American perspective. Obviously, many people are saying the same thing they said to us in Moscow when our community resisted the megaliths. One of my DJs, Helen Yost, was arrested in anger for throwing her sign at one of the passing things, like damaging the property. And it was about as much nonsense as with Amy Goodman. Only she wasn't there as a journalist; she was there as an activist. And
So-
she's got a program called Climate Justice Forum on KRFP that's on Wednesdays. She's been doing this for years. And so her constituency naturally fed into this story. So I've been updating her and updating the news department, and they use them as they will. The first time that we got on the news with just a synopsis I made of what my day had been like and what had been going on, a half hour was done on Standing Rock using some of my stuff and other things he found on the web from Insect Settings. So it's definitely got traction in our little town, and I'm getting messages all the time. Oh, how are you doing? And so glad you're there. And
How long have you been here?
I've been here over a week. It would have been a week on last Wednesday, so my second week began this Thursday. So.
And you said that they were donating all kinds of things like comforters and blankets.
Well,
and-
that was happening from here. Somebody sent a truckload of comforters and chairs and things, and it was starting to get cold, and it was time. And it was just a real good thing. And some of them maybe have taken it home, taken it to use at home, which is fine, because that's one of the traditions of Indian culture is giving things away.
And basically what I heard too was that right now they're planning on staying here 6 months at this juncture. It could be longer, but everybody's in for 6 months right now.
Yeah, we'll see what happens, and it really depends on what moves are made by the other folks. We'll see what happens. So far, they've been, the county sheriff charged everybody with felony trespassing. And there was you need to look up a press release from the county sheriff here that listed all the people and their charges and also where they were from. And you will see that people from all over the country, I think there was some person from the United Kingdom, I could be mistaken. That's the sort of stuff that shows the broad base of support for what's going on here. Now, I may have cast overboard any pretense of journalistic neutrality, or I won't say I've lost my integrity. I'm saying that my integrity is making me speak the truth as I see it. And I see around me lots of truth tellers, and they're telling the truth to the world about what's going on here. And of course, as they see it.
When you say the felony, what happened? Were they, who was arrested? People at the camp, or was it where they were protesting?
People that were, last week, about 70 miles from here, at another site near I-94, kind of northwest of here, there was a direct action taken against the construction. People locked themselves down with the equipment.
Okay.
Others were on the property trespassing. Others were charged with conspiracy for having driven the people that were locking down to the site. So it was a whole variety of charges. It wasn't anything simple, and so this is probably the typical attempt to tie up a movement in court and sap their resources with lawsuits. Now, it's interesting that the injunction that the Dakota Access Pipeline asked for was turned down. It said they just didn't have really any grounds for it because of the nonviolent nature of the protesters, and he just didn't allow it. It's one of those so-called slap suits, where you tie people up, deal with courts, you get injunctions, you kind of fuzzle up their focus on their thing with all this side stuff. But there's a legal team here that apparently all the people that go to these things they're arrestable, quote unquote. In other words, they don't have charges someplace else where they'll get snatched out of here, they end up in real trouble and out of reach really of the help of the movement. And this is just what I've absorbed. I'm not, my conclusions from what I've seen and heard.
I did see the legal tent up there, and it's right next to the press tent.
Right.
So if anybody's in media and you want to come here, when you come into the gates, you have to let the guards know that you're with the media, and then you go to the media tent, which is in the
On the
very
hill.
beginning. It's up
Yeah.
on the hill on the right.
So did you talk to the radio guy up there?
I haven't yet. We're going back
Yeah, his
today.
name is Govinda, and I was able to participate in helping them get a phone call from Leonard Peltier, the fellow that's been in jail since the Wounded Knee incident. Now, the interesting thing here is the Wounded Knee incident happened on the same day as the Battle of the Greasy Grass, otherwise known as Custer's Last Stand, or if you want to get really vicious about it, the Custer Massacre. Now, how coincidental is that? You know, and the Day of the Dogs, September 3rd, was there's signs up on the fence that tell September 3rd in somewhere in the 1880s, 1890s was a similar was a conflict right there. These conflicts have. It's almost like, is it in the stars? These conflicts are occurring on these dates.
Same dates.
Same dates.
It's almost like karma to see if we can get it right this time.
Yeah. We get this terrible feeling of deja vu.
So you look like a child of the 60s. Is this reminiscent of some things that you've seen during that era?
When you look at, I got radicalized by the Kent State shootings. I was
That was the moment for you in history that
Oh, yeah.
changed everything for you?
Oh yeah, I stayed up all night and painted a 4 foot by 8 foot canvas in black and splattered red paint all over it and hung barbed wire in front of it. I was at Wheaton College in Illinois, Billy Graham's alma mater, and Franklin Graham's father, and there's somebody that's spouting all kinds of hate. These people are just
Right.
they're cranking up the hatred, and it comes out, and the Gandhi-like tactics that they're trying to use here, take that weapon away. I heard a story from some people that participated in it of another incident that didn't end up, making the news because nobody got hurt. So 8 water protectors faced down 30 riot gear-clad cops in a phalanx formation who just advanced on them, and they didn't flinch. And they showed no fear, and all the cops could do was go away.
I met with some of the National Guard last night, and they were actually pretty pleasant. They said they were here to make sure that the highways weren't blocked. Do you know anything about that?
Yeah, and what they actually told us is that they want to make sure that the pedestrians on the highway are safe, and so when they had a walk yesterday from the camp up to the disturbed gravesite opposite what's called the Sacred Ground Camp now, formerly called the Frontline Camp, but they were thinking, or I think they changed it because Frontline sounds too much like a war zone, and
Kind of like
they don't
here
want
right
it to
now.
be a war zone.
That's a background effect.
Yeah.